to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hello, all. Welcome to another fun weekday episode of Athletics LLC, the thing we call our little fun time here, gentlemen. I do want to give a quick shout out before we get into our introductions that we have successfully hit over 200 followers on, or subscribers, I guess they're called, on YouTube. So shout out to everybody who follows us on YouTube. And I know we've got a good following out on the podcast with Guild Connections. But for those 205 of you who like to see our wonderful faces week in and week out, thank you. We take showers just for you every Wednesday.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. But as always, let's go ahead and introduce the gentleman here, and then we'll get started with the show. Tonight we've got Clyde.
Going on. Shout out to the Midwest for the pink bow. Appreciate it.
Lucious.
What's up, everybody?
And Lamar, Deep Dive Huffins.
Let's go. Let's get it tonight.
We'll see if we're going to sit in kiddie pool or the deep end. We'll see how far that goes. So let's go ahead and just cannonball this in with Lamar. Why do you hate the women's deck?
Oh, that's a great question.
Oh,
That's a great question.
you know, and I when I said it, I figured it was going to come back at me, and I'm actually glad. It's really, really simple. Obviously, I was a decathlete, and I have the utmost affinity for all combined eventers, decathletes and heptathletes. And if we're going to change the heptathlon to the decathlon, it is completely and utterly disrespectful, in my opinion, to not have them do the same events. And worse, and this is the reason I hate it, is out of convenience, we flip-flop the 3 field events in the middle on each day from day to day. So now you do the long jump as the 7th event, and you do the high jump as the 9th event. So you've taken the entire concept of speed and power on day 1 and rhythm and skill on day 2 and have completely jumbled it, creating a gigantic injury waiting to happen, and for no good reason other than, well, now we can hold both genders of decathlon at the same place at the same time. That's the stupidest reason ever to do anything. If we're going to have women do the decathlon, let them do the decathlon. That's why I hate the women's decathlon.
What is the order of events for the women's decathlon? Do you know it by heart?
100 meters discus. So it's 100 meters discus. Jesus, what's wrong with me? Pole vault, javelin, 400. Hurdles, long jump, shot put, high jump, 1,500.
So, okay, forgive my ignorance. So this is a real projected schedule that they would do? Or has
No, it has been done. There are records in it.
I've never seen this before. Okay, cool. The order of events that you just labeled is trash.
Completely.
So why would they not just do the same order that the men currently do?
It would take too long.
The initial conversations were you couldn't hold both competitions simultaneously because the 2 pole vaults back to back would take too long. The 2 high jumps back to back would take too long. And
So what are we talking about at the NCAA level, which obviously they're not going to do the deck?
Oh no, this is an international situation.
Well, my thing internationally, when are the deck and the HEP ever going on at the same time?
No, not at major championships, like at the international combined events.
Oh.
So like at Gotsis and Talents and all of those places.
So they couldn't like schedule things a little differently to make up for that. So they just
I mean,
Bless you.
just do like
Bless you.
Group A and Group B, right?
I mean,
And if you're concerned somebody thinks you're sexist, have the women go at whatever you think is the most is the most lucrative time. But at the end of the day, and I think I had this conversation one time with Big League. If I was going to do it, I would just make those competitions 3 days, and I'd have the women go day 1 and day 2, and have the men go day 2 and day 3, or vice versa.
I mean, yeah, that seems like the obvious and easy solution to this. I'm actually
that sounds better than that schedule you just told me.
Imagine high jumping as event number 9.
Nope, I'm not going to imagine that.
I'm incredibly disappointed with this.
Remember that smoke-filled room I talked to you about last week?
Yes.
Another entry.
Yes.
But Lucious, aren't you like disappointed as I am? Like, I thought this was going to be an opportunity for us to like jump on Lamar for some ignorance that he said, and damn it, the man just.
No, I see. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in this case, I kind of knew why, because he talked to me about it before, so I cheated a little bit.
Oh man.
So I kind of played along, but I knew it was good. First of all, knowing him when it comes to the multi events, he's not just going to say stuff just to be safe. So,
well, this is a perfectly rational reason to be pissed off about it, and I'm now going to say I hate the women's decathlon too. I thought I was going to be on another side.
You came ready to fight and found out you were on my team.
So again, so we're going to take that idea and we're going to put it in that same smoke-filled room with the 39-inch hurdles for women.
Yeah,
same room.
Yeah.
Man, I really thought I was going to get to wear my petty crown on this one, and I'm not weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
And that's big, because we know Clyde is the ultimate champion for the underdog.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimate champion for the underdog. And so Clyde's against it. Okay, y'all got no shot. Just move on.
Look, I want to see women be decathletes, probably more than anybody. But I don't want to see them do a bastardization of an event that literally, the better you get at it, the more injury potential there is. Right? If you take guys who've trained for the decathlon and flip-flop the 3 events in the middle, somebody's going to get hurt high jumping and long jumping on day 2. For sure.
Chuck, I don't know, or Clyde, I'm sorry. I don't know if you know this. One of the young ladies that T was just jumping with whenever ago is a female decathlete. The young lady who won Georgia.
Honestly, I was unaware. I mean, obviously, we all know about the hip and all of that, but the smaller, very, very specific meets that are decathlon centric, I don't watch a lot of those. So I was thinking like this was a future projection and good idea. And so they're already doing it out of order.
Yes.
Yeah, boo.
Like you said, done.
All of that.
Records have been set. Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm who do we need to talk to? We need to change that.
Yeah.
Clyde's stomping his feet out of camera right now because he really thought he was the best juice. All right, let's have a little more fun. What do we think of the Big 10 and Pac-12 agreeing to now play football?
I don't really think there was much of a choice. And so here's the thing. Let me be very, very clear. Because my circumstances on all of this haven't changed at all.
We're surprised.
The Big 10 and the Pac-12 stepping away from football was the righteous choice. It was the smart choice, and it was a choice. It was the only medically responsible choice to make. The Big 10, whether they're caving for financial reasons, whether they're caving for political pressure in their region, whether Ohio State is just that powerful, and when the Bengals are playing, the Browns are playing, the University of Cincinnati is playing, and it just became an untenable situation in that particular state. Whatever the issue is that got them to flip, the Pac-12 can't be the only Power 5 out there not playing. That would destroy so many things for so many reasons. The funny thing is, as we sit here today, it's all still just plans, because day by day, week by week, we have Division I football teams canceling their games because of COVID issues across the country. It's been happening. And the SEC ain't played a game yet. Pac-10 ain't played a game yet.
Saturday, baby.
I hear you.
Saturday.
And so,
You heard me 25 weeks ago too.
sir, if you roll the tape back, I did.
Check the tape.
I just that it is a bad idea medically.
You said it wasn't going to happen.
That it is a indefensible idea when it goes wrong. And by
that's big.
All accounts, it's still gonna go.
Okay, so the question is, what is your opinion on why the Big? Because I'm not going to do that. With like, what is like? Why do you think the Big 12?
I just said.
Okay, the Pac-12.
I just said that the Big Ten is caving for what I believe is political and financial pressure. The Pac-12 had secured, a financial solution. That's been in the press. It's been well documented. But you can't be the only one not doing it. So
you could.
I mean, you could, but it would cause destruction at a level, across the board that would be, untenable. And so there's all kinds of.
My question is, what destruction does it cause if they're okay with it? If them and the Big Ten are aligned, or if they stand out there by themselves? What's the difference?
I think that recruiting takes a huge hit. I think they lose their standing amongst the quote unquote powers that be. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't they have lost that same standing if they're still standing with the Big Ten?
I don't think so. I think that if 2 of the 5 are on one side and the other 3 are on their side, it is what it is. It's kind of balanced. I mean, it's 5. It's not going to be perfectly balanced one way or the other. But 4-1, can't do that. So do I think it's ultimately going to work? As a professional in the world of collegiate athletics, I hope it works. Again, what do we want? We want to see the games as fans. We want, as professionals, to have football be stable because, it connects to all of our financial realities. Like, we want it to work. I want it to work. I just don't think it's a responsible thing to do medically. It's not the NFL. It's not the NBA. There is no bubble. There is no safe way to go about it. And the funny thing is, all of the medical protocols that the Big Ten and others are now touting, like, we got this stuff. They got all that from us anyway. So they're doing it in the most responsible way that they think they can. I just don't think it's the time. I don't think it's going to go well. I hope I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. But my original point 25 weeks ago was that there's no way college football would not be dramatically impacted by the COVID situation. There's no way that it would function in regular order business. That has been my quote.
Those are your exact words?
Yes, it was. And it has.
We play that tape because I don't remember all that.
Business as usual.
Okay, so business as usual has. All I know is that we said they were going to play football. I don't know about all that other stuff.
And I never said that they wouldn't play. Now, do we think they're going to finish the season? I don't know.
So here's the deal. All right, so this is what I will tell you. I'm going to guarantee you they finish the season. Okay, because now, will there be a game canceled here and there? We've seen that already. Okay, but there's been a lot more football played than there's been football canceled, and that's going to continue. That's going to continue.
Okay, I'm not sure about that, but I understand the point.
I don't know how you're not sure about that because.
Well, are we measuring all of Division I, or are we just Power 5 specific?
Your Mouse is talking about Mouse. Woo. Lucious is talking about Power 5. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
So I will weigh in and happily say, all I said, because I'm simple as carbon and I'm dumb as a caveman. All I said was they was gonna play football, and they're gonna play football. But we don't need to argue about that. The question was, how do we feel about it, right? Am I correct? That was the question.
So we feel about those 2 leagues now that are now playing.
Okay, and so here's what I'm going to give that answer. How do I feel about it? I feel like their hands were forced, as I knew they were going to be. I thought it was brave that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten tried to stand up to the machine. I honestly did think it was brave, and I'll even say to Clyde's point, I think it was morally responsible for them to attempt to do that. But I did also know that the unfortunate part of the world that we have been forced to, and I guess allowed to live in, is that Division I, Power 5 college football is like a 285-pound Rottweiler. If it decides to turn on its master, heel, stay, sit is not going to work. And football is at the point where it is an untenable beast. And if it was challenged, it was certainly going to eat the hand that was in theory feeding it. So it had to then be placated. They couldn't do it. The Pac-12 was financially solvent enough to figure it out, for sure. But to Clyde's point, they couldn't stand by themselves. Insert all comments about Minnesota here to prove that obvious that the Big Ten was not financially solvent. All schools are not the same, but if one of your schools is furloughing people and cutting programs and doing all that, and they get $52 million or $54 million a year from TV revenue, clearly that group of people have not been financially solvent. So to Clyde's point, 1 versus 4 was never going to work. And as soon as the Big Ten realized that they had a dog they couldn't handle, it was done. I mean, at the end of the day, if we're going to point to one thing, like we have college football at all 5 Power 5 schools because Nebraska wasn't going to cave.
Yeah, and I think that for me, and I had this conversation privately with Lamar maybe a month ago, and I told him then that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten were going to come back as soon as the other 3 actually started playing, because now that the pressure is too big. Now, if they're playing and we're not, we're going to get clubbed in recruiting. I think it was very noble that they decided not to play. I really felt like it was more from a standpoint of the whole whatever the movement was about the guys, that the demands they made, because that happened right after that situation came up. That's where everything, that kind of snowballed everything. But for me, not surprised at all. I saw it coming. I didn't think there's any way they were going to let the other 3 leagues play football and them not play football. From that financial standpoint, as we've said from week 1, I don't know how college athletics is going to survive if we don't play football. So they were going to do everything they could to make sure it got played. And I think that's what you saw happen. They had to buy in or get bought out, basically.
And I sincerely, I mean, we like to make our jokes and everything. I sincerely hope that, everybody gets through this very loose experiment, unscathed. Honestly,
Agreed.
I don't believe, depending on the region of the country, what I can say is I believe that out west, like, no one's going to go as far as to like manipulate test results to get a team on the field. Like, if you end up missing a game, you're just going to end up missing a game. I don't necessarily believe that about everywhere in the country. And like, I really hope that none of these kids end up getting put in peril just to get a W. Like, that's going to be the worst thing possible. And it's,
I really understand what you're saying, but I just don't believe, and maybe I'm just, and I can only maybe speak to the space that I'm in and what's going on around on this campus and what I believe to be going on in the SEC as a whole. The testing, the protocol to get back even to practice after you have tested positive is above and beyond what most people think it is. And it's very, very detailed, it's very structured, and it's very, very careful and very cognizant of the athlete's health and well-being. Can't speak about other campuses, but if the protocol that we're doing here on this campus is being followed around the rest of this league, we're going to be okay.
And I totally believe that about that campus and about you. But on the flip side of that, you have coaches literally on television talking about the idea of herd immunity is saving their season. And that is irresponsible and wrong by every reputable medical professional. So
about what say I didn't get that the first part of that.
There are coaches on television openly speaking about the idea that herd immunity is saving their season. Well, our whole team already got it, so it's, it's good. Like, what are you talking about? That is not how this works. There's no evidence to suggest that that is how this works. So when I hear stuff like that coming from the top seat of a major program, I'm like, oh my God, like, what are they actually doing with the?
That again speaks to what we talked about weeks ago. It just people read and believe what they want to believe. Okay, so we don't need to get into that again. The medical stuff in different parts of the country and what they believe, but if people are saying that's because, okay, you guys all know, like, I bowl. That's my pastime, right? So there are people that I bowl with. The guys like, oh, I got it. I can't get it again. I can't. I'm good. I'm like, how do you know that? I'm like, I'm still wearing my mask. Get away from me, right? But there are people out there that really believe that. Like, there are people out there that believe that as soon as the election hits, the COVID's done. Right. Sure. So I can't argue with you that people think that. And you're right that there's no medical proof of that, but somebody is giving them that information, saying, because I've had a doctor say to me, so I believe him, that the chances of you getting it again are very, very, very slim. Now, that's a doctor who said it to me, so I'm gonna believe him. Okay, but again, there's some doctor out in LA that might tell you could get it 10 times. So I don't, but I'm gonna believe my guy because he's my guy, right? And that's probably what that football guy, he's got his guy, and that's what he wants to hear. So that's what he's gonna believe. But yeah. I'm gonna believe that we're gonna play football, and there's gonna be a national championship game and all that stuff. It's gonna happen. It's gonna have the big asterisk beside it for the rest of our lives, right? And if it doesn't, Clyde's definitely putting an asterisk beside it, right? Because Clyde's got a big college playing to begin with, right?
Listen, they all got asterisks well before COVID ever showed up.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. In Clyde's opinion, we don't need to get into that with you tonight.
We don't have a playoff, so it's not a championship.
So again, we're not going to get into that tonight. But at the end of the day, back to the whole Big Ten, Pac-12 thing. I mean, this is what they had to do to survive, and that's why they did it. And I don't think it was because of Ohio State. I'm sure it was because of Nebraska. I think Nebraska made a lot of noise, but then quickly they were told to shut up, and they did.
No, I think the region in itself. The region. I mean, if you just literally look at the region that makes up the Big Ten, that is a very politically dicey region to have this fight in. And it just that, and I would imagine that there's a very serious, there's a very serious financial, pink elephant in the room with this whole thing. And
it's a pink elephant that weighs 1 million pounds,
right?
And you can't move it. And at the end of the day, see, this is where I think you and I will always split hairs, is that I just don't believe that there are people putting people out there and putting people in danger. Okay, because I talk to coaches in other leagues, and I know what their protocols are and what they're doing. Now, I can't speak to, my concern is not the Power Fives. It's the lower levels who can't afford to do the things that we can afford to do. Well, that's my concern.
So to as an example, because like the ACC's been playing games, right? There's no, to me, and I'll be whatever I need to be called on this. I don't see any reason that it's a responsible thing for Clemson to go out there and play that first game that they played against, who the hell ever State. Oh, we had a contract. Just send them the money that you owe them and leave it alone. There's no good reason that game had to be played so you can go out there and be 55-0. Like, Send them their money. Don't take the risk. You're going to have to play the ACC games. I understand that. But, like, it's just unnecessary.
Well, the second game they played, Citadel, they had 49 points at halftime.
Again, doesn't need to play.
They didn't play either one of those.
Hey, see. Let's just let that go. Let's just let that go. Because because here's the thing, okay? So let me, and I'm not a medical professional, and I can barely spell the word, right? But at the end of the day, if the four of us are in a room and none of us have it, then nobody can catch it, right?
That is
right. So with all the testing they're doing, the belief is that you got this group of people and this group of people, and they're all in the same space, and none of them have it. They can't catch it. So that's why they think it's play the games. So let's go to something else, because this could go on. Please let's go. Because we got way off topic, and we don't need to split hairs about this. We all have different thoughts and opinions on it. Let's let it play out. And I think that I hope that Lamar and I are right, and that we play the season. And I hope that Clyde's wishes come through and everybody stays safe. And no matter who wins the college football playoff, that Clyde doesn't call a playoff, he's putting an asterisk beside it. Even if the Cal Bears win it, he's putting an asterisk beside it.
100%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, if Cal wins it, I'm not putting an asterisk next to that.
No, you're not putting an asterisk.
I will run around with the national championship T-shirt on for sure.
Every day.
Oh my gosh.
I'll sleep in it. Yeah, facts.
All right, so let's not leave the football stadium quite yet. Sitting in our stadium seats 6 feet apart, who are your Super Bowl picks?
Go ahead.
Got the Birdman rub going on. Okay.
Go ahead, Gainesville.
I want to hear this.
Whew. Man. My rooting team for sure is not going to make it. My Giants are terrible, and they lost their best player. So, for the record, my team is definitely not making it. We'll start there. I believe that the NFC is going to be represented by the Beige Mamba, one Mr. Russell Wilson. I think the Seattle is going to be in the Super Bowl from the NFC side, and on the AFC side, and I think it's just because I've been around Clyde too long, and I want to see the world burn a little bit. I want to see Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl.
Well, wait a minute.
Look, I don't think they're making it. But
wait, you just screwed up, sir.
To see it.
But you just screwed up.
Oh, that's right. They're in the NFC. So that can't happen.
Tampa in the NFC. What are you talking about?
I forgot. So I guess, look.
We got two NFC teams in the Super Bowl now.
It's COVID, so.
My Super Bowl is going to be the Chiefs.
You asked the Seattle about the Super Bowl.
Okay, so
two NFC teams.
The Chiefs and Seattle, and the Chiefs are going to win. There's my Super Bowl pick.
Okay. You'd like for me to go next spot?
I messed up with the Tampa Bay thing.
Whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did. I own it. I made a mistake.
I can go next. There's no problem.
Okay.
I won't fumble through it like whatever the hell that just was.
Okay.
Let me be clear.
I fumbled through it for sure.
My throne of petty is only rooting for one Super Bowl to watch. I want to see the Patriots versus the Bucks. That's
of course you do.
That's the only Super Bowl I wish to see. But if you're asking me, is that going to happen? No. So the Super Bowl that I'm predicting will happen is Baltimore versus Seattle, with Russell Wilson getting ring number 2. When Brady is officially retired and out of the league, Russell Wilson will easily fill the throne as my favorite player, and he's currently the best quarterback in the game. Yes, he's better than Mahomes because he's got less to work with. That's my Super Bowl pick.
The ultimate underdog guy, right? The ultimate. Okay, so for me, NFC, I'm not a Seattle guy. I'm not. I just never have been. Especially since they didn't give my man the ball when they needed to. But I'm gonna let that ride.
I mean, for sure, that should happen.
Yeah, so we're done with that. But I'm gonna ride with my man Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I think he has enough tools. If they can play a little defense, got a chance, right? In the AFC, I'm a little toss up because I do like Patrick Mahomes. I think he does a wonderful job. Like watching him last year in I think the NFC Championship game, they're down like 21 points. He's on the sidelines laughing at people. Like he thought it was funny, so it's hard to not respect that man's swagger, But I'm a Lamar Jackson fan to the nth, and I love what he brings to the game. I love the fact that it's Baltimore. You can't have a Baltimore Ravens team and not play defense. I mean, it's just not allowed. So they got to figure that out. So I'm gonna ride with Baltimore and Green Bay. My heart says Baltimore, so I'm gonna ride with Baltimore. Aaron Rodgers is dangerous in that situation, but I'm gonna ride with Baltimore, even though Green Bay is probably gonna win. But just as Lamar said, my team may be the worst team in the league, maybe the second worst team in the league, the Cleveland Browns. So we're not winning anything. So no.
Yeesh.
Exactly. Hey. Look, I don't need no help. I don't need no help. Look, when you win one game in 2 years, I don't need no help.
Bro, we're not going to win a game this year.
Highly likely.
Well,
See, the bad thing is we're 1-1 right now.
Yeah, you already own us because we're not winning a game.
So for the record, it is written down. We'll go just on my wall. Lamar says Chiefs over the Hawks. Seahawks, right? Did I get that right? Clyde, you say Seahawks over the Baltimore. And then Lucious just says Baltimore over Green Bay.
Yes, and for some reason your voice sounds really strange to me right now.
You sound like Megatron.
Okay, so it's not just me.
I definitely thought it was me because me and I don't have those internet problems anymore. So I was like, wait a minute.
Chew sounds like Megatron. No.
Nah, it's cool. Just as long as just go to the next question and hopefully it doesn't happen to us.
Okay. All right. So, if you had to coach a little bit of sport, not track and field, it's not working. You can see it all over his mouth. Hold on. Okay, we're going to try that again. So now that I'm audible and not Megatron and we're not transforming anywhere, if you had to coach a Little League sport, not track and field, what sideline are you standing on and what whistle are you blowing for? Or what sport are you blowing for a whistle for?
Oh, I want to hear Clyde's answer because I know it's going to be entertaining.
Okay. So as I've stated in the past, my true other passion would easily be coach youth football. No problem. And I'd have fun with it. I'd do a great job of it. That would be awesome. However, I'm going to learn from the poor choices of my youth and say that my actual answer will be baseball because I want to make sure more black kids end up making the easier money without destroying their bodies in baseball. I never should have quit baseball.
I'm gonna go basketball. As I said before, I love the game. I've coached it a little bit at the high school level before, so I've had a lot of fun with it. I want nothing to do with football. I'm not playing baseball, not coaching baseball because I'm not. I'm not going to be out there for like 9 hours and watch people score like half a run. I'm not doing it. So.
Oh, man.
Plus, like, I want to get out of the sun. I like to be inside, I could chill, air conditioning. I've been outside all of my life.
Ice hockey.
Now, you have lost your mind, your delusion.
Oh, my God.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to coach basketball, and then I'm going to call you up and ask you how that baseball thing's going for you, bro.
Lucius, you can coach me and Tianna in curling. That's what we want to do.
This is true.
Me and Tianna will be female curlers, and you can be our coach.
Okay.
Hey, don't make jokes about curling. I for real, legit had Olympic curling aspirations.
I mean, I'm not no jokes here. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to coach it. But I mean, you know me. Give me some video. I'll figure it out. You know?
Yeah. Watch some people sweep their living room. That's a good start.
Yeah.
And you bowl already, so you know what? You're halfway there.
Yeah.
You are halfway there.
Wait, you can coach bowling.
Well, so here's the question.
Oh no.
If I already, so I coach Little League Baseball, so does that mean I have to give a different answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I couldn't coach track nor baseball, I mean, there's no question I would coach the little grommets in basketball, and I would for sure be like Calipari of the little dudes. Like, we're running like some mixture of Nolan and Calipari. Like, I'm getting the 5. Well, I'm gonna get like the 9 most ridiculously talented 9-year-olds, and we're gonna play man-to-man defense from the time you walk in the gym. And as soon as you get tired, somebody else is coming in and taking your position.
Oh yeah, there's going to be waves in my situation too.
Every single one of my kids is going to average 6 points a game.
Exactly. Like when I coached high school girls basketball for a year, and every girl that I coached said we ran too much. I'm like, no, we did not, because we had to press. And when you got tired, just come sit with me. Just think about it. The more you slack on these runs, the less spraying time you're going to get, because we're going to press.
Hey, listen, youth basketball with little kids that can run, you're going to win all the time anyway.
Absolutely.
Like, if you press court to court, you're going to win the game regardless.
Exactly.
We're putting up, look, my kids are going to do 2 things. They're going to play ridiculous levels of defense, and they're going to practice layups, because all we're going to do is steal and score. If you shoot a jump shot, I'm calling timeout and sitting you on the bench, because we can get that shot anytime we want to. Layups only. And we're going to average 100 points a game.
There it is.
With a running clock.
With a running clock, right?
With a running clock. 6 minute running clock. We're still going to put up 100.
Oh, my goodness.
The only threes you're allowed to shoot are in transition. If you steal it, pull up, and shoot a 3, 1 on none, I can live with that.
All right, let's bring the blood pressures down a little bit, just to spike it back up after. So, speak on what your favorite music genres are. Genres.
I mean, I'll go first. I mean, I'm a big gospel music guy. I love it, and I'm always and will forever be a R&B fan. You know, I mean, like, there's too many groups to list of, you know, to call like any favorite. Like, if I have one favorite guy on the gospel side, this guy named Jasper Williams Jr. I absolutely love his music and the message he sends. And then from the other side of it, you know, I'm a Luther Vandross guy every day, all day, and twice on Sunday.
Well, it's got to be Monday, because Sunday you're listening to Jasper.
Exactly. There you go. That's right. See, Jasper's gonna get his, even with Luther getting his. Well, I'm gonna get my Jasper in there now. So.
Clyde, would you like me to go, or would you like to go, sir?
Whatever. I can go now if you like. No worries.
It's up to you. I'm good. I'm feeling froggy. So.
The question was genre, and my favorite genre would be R&B, but that's a pretty
big
obvious answer, I think. But my all-time favorite artist is Prince. GOAT. Now, the information, I think we got this question because it's one of those things where people may not know this about you. So my secret love genre of music is 80s soft rock. What can I say? I grew up in the house with my mother.
Wait, so that means you grew up listening to Quake 96.5.
100%. 100%. All day. And so, you know, 80s soft rock my thing. I have playlists on my phone that is very, very real. And not shockingly, the two genres I absolutely just cannot listen to, I can't deal with it, is classical and gospel. I can't do it. Listen to country first. So that is all me.
I for sure thought country was hitting that one.
Nah, the twang old school country, I can't do that, but new school country is kind of cool.
You're more a Red Solo Cup kind of guy?
Something like that.
You think my tractor's sexy?
No.
See, it's funny because
I'm at baseball fields too often.
Lamar was at a hitting session one morning, and I hear the song in the background. I was like, "Is that Body Like a Back Road?" He goes, "How do you know?"
Right. It's a thing, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
If you spend, I can tell you this: if you spend time at baseball fields, you are gonna find country songs you like.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. I heard a new one last week. I'm more rednecker than you.
Necker.
And I just
I'm gonna start calling you Darius.
I was like, I got nothing. I literally am speechless to I'm more rednecker than you. So that wins and we're done.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to throw out another sleeper group. Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh,
Love
for
Hootie
sure.
and the Blowfish. Love Hootie and the Blowfish.
For sure. Well, I don't know if this is going to be surprising or disappointing or somewhat trite, but I mean, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and my musical taste was like 4,000,000% black until I was probably 15. So I'm a hip hop head from now till forever because my life was lived through hip hop. Like, pick a song. That movie, is it Brown Sugar? Like, that's like my life. Like, if you pick a year, I can tell you what songs I was listening to and you know, like how my hip hop taste has changed from this kind of hip hop to this kind of hip hop to this kind of hip hop, what I really like, what I don't like. But at the end of the day, like, I like all kinds of music, but if I was going to be stuck in solitary and could only listen to one genre, it would without question have to be hip hop. Probably 90s hip hop is my favorite. Probably the best combination of skill, technology, poetry, and beats is probably from the 90s. But I can listen to like all the way back to hip hop, because I was at block parties listening to that old, ridiculously slow nonsense that I thought was good when I was like 9, right? And I can listen to some of the trash rap that my child listens to. Some, not most of it, but I will say this: I like the baby. I like a few of the new cats. Like, you know, like, so it's like at the end of the day, I was born and raised on hip hop, so I really couldn't have another genre. Prince is my favorite artist, and that's not close. But in my own like dream world, like when I get to heaven, I want to hear, you know, Prince spit a verse or something, because I need to put those two things together.
And you know he can do it too. So
right.
There's nothing he cannot do.
Now, see, Lamar, I didn't put hip hop out there because I knew you would. My problem is, like, I love hip hop so much that I'm currently so disgusted by what's going on with it. Like, 90s, 2000s, I'm in there. But what's going on now, I can barely tolerate it. You know, Kendrick's dope, you know, some people, but I can't with the mumbles and the little.
I mean, I'm not really a mumble rap guy, but there's some guys out there. I'm not gonna be disrespectful and just trash them. So there's some guys out there now that I think actually have some real skills.
So what about your California boys? You know, Snoop, Tupac.
Well, okay, so California hip hop has an interesting relationship to the world. Like,
for sure.
First of all, NorCal, the Bay, and LA could not be possibly more different when it comes to music.
That's like Mississippi and Seattle.
Right. So
musically.
So if you're a West Coast kid, like, you respect the LA rappers, you know, way back to NWA and Dre and Snoop and Cube. Like we respect them, we love them, but understand our sound, the Bay sound, is classic, it's timeless, and for the most part, we know it's trash, but it's art.
It's all been recorded in a basement with blankets laying around and mattresses under, and you can hear it, but it doesn't matter because we're still.
No one from the Bay Area is gonna tell you that Too Short is a great rapper.
Right.
But we all know everything he's ever put out.
Facts.
Like nobody that's not like some people in the Midwest got with it for a hot second, but E40's flow is something that a lot of people just can't understand because one, they don't know the words he's using. We know the words. We understand what he's saying, so we're good with it. Like it's dope to us, and we understand. Hyphy is dope to us. We get it. Like my only thing with the Bay Area rap is how many other areas take our sound and try to act like it ain't our sound. Like, bro, we know that's our sound. Like, why are you trying to act like it's not? I mean, even Drake did it. He did it nicely. Did it very nicely. But the motto is us. That's our song. He did it right. He shot the video here. It's cool. But our sound is our sound. We all love it. We don't ask others to understand it. We're good.
I mean, that is absolutely true.
All of it.
I have been educated.
When I first moved to the Bay, I had been there for a week, and I finally had to stop somebody and ask them, why do everybody here say hella? Everyone. To the point where at this point in time in my age, like I don't remember not saying it. But when I moved to the Bay, it was the first time I'd ever heard anybody say hella. Just is what it is. Because they don't look. It's not even a SoCal thing. It is a Bay Area thing.
Right. And there are
whistle tips, hyphy, all of that is Bay Area only.
It's so built into the fabric of the area. There are kids right now in high school and junior high who listen to, understand who, and like Mac Dre. No, you can't go anywhere else. You can't go to LA and have the current people be like, yeah, Cube and them was dope. Now they're gonna be like, nah, they was trash. Like everywhere. Like the new kids don't like the old Atlanta rappers. They think Outkast is trash. It doesn't make any sense to me. But everybody out here know you can put a Mac Dre song on right now anywhere in the Bay. Black, white, green, brown, orange. Everybody's gonna do what they do.
I mean, people sacrifice their lives on Dre Day. Plain and simple. Mac Dre has his own day in the Bay, so.
This is true.
Lucious is sitting there like, what are they talking about right now?
No, he has no idea. If I get off this, if we get off this chat tonight and I send Lucious,
oh no,
so stupid, he's going to lose his mind. He's like, what? He's gonna be like, what is this? If I send him the Fizzle dance, he's gonna be like, Chuck, what are you listening to?
Okay, here's the new Athletics LLC challenge. You two, Bay Area, born and raised, put together a playlist and send it to Lucious. And he has to listen. He has to listen to the whole thing from beginning to end and give us a critique.
10 tracks.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Next week I'll have my critique as soon as you guys get me the playlist. I'll be ready.
10 tracks.
You're gonna have Jasper on.
I'll listen to it on my walk every day. I'll get it in.
Woo. Lucious, just put it this way: when I go on my runs, people are probably a little scared about the words that are coming out of my mouth and the ferociousness that's coming out of it with it. So there are times I remember.
I'm looking forward to this now.
Oh, that's happening. That's definitely.
I'm ready.
I love it. Okay, so flip the switch over the top, put the hat backwards. Transitioning a career. Good job. Way to pick up on what I was putting down. When should an athlete or a coach know when it's time to hang them up?
Oh man. Sure, go ahead, buddy.
I mean, Lamar hung them up, so.
I was gonna say I've retired twice, so like I got a good answer.
It is.
I'll say as an I'm assuming we need both, right? So from my perspective, when should you retire as an athlete? And I think It's when you no longer do it for the reasons that you started to do it. For me, it was an easy one. Like, I wanted to compete until I no longer was in it for the pursuit to be the very best in the world. So I knew at the beginning of 2000, that was it for me as a decathlete, because that was the last year that I was willing to sacrifice everything else in my life to be the best decathlete in the world. I had one more year contractually, and I really wanted to see how far I could long jump, give myself one more year at that. So I retired after 2001, but it was like, there was not a waffle to me at all. Like, I had finite goals and thoughts about what it was I wanted to do, and I gave myself a finite amount of time to pursue those goals. And when I no longer, like, I never wanted to be the guy that like hated being at practice. I never wanted to be the guy that hated, that was like at track meets because they were paying me. And so for me, it was really simple. I'm going to do this until I no longer would do this for free. From a coaching perspective, I think it's a similar thought process for me. You should coach until it's no longer your primary passion. And when it isn't, you should very kindly hand in your keys, your stopwatch and whistle and whatever else, you clipboard, whatever else you use, thank everybody, shake their hands, and part ways amicably. Because every coach I know that has left after that moment has left bitter, mad, and angry at the sport. And I just think that's a terrible way to leave anything. So I know for me, from a coaching perspective, I had other things and other pursuits I wanted to do that finally got to the point where they had bubbled their way up to the top. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this as much as I want to do this. And I always promised myself when I got to that point, I was going to pursue the other thing. The day that the other thing was equally as important to me or more important or more intriguing, I was going to kick rocks. So I guess for me, that's my answer. Kind of, I think from an athlete and a coaching perspective, it's the same. Like, when it's no longer your primary focus.
For me, I think from the athlete side, I think that you use a great word there when you talk about passion. And obviously, in my opinion, when you use passion for anything, you need to step away. It's just, you need to be done. And I think that just as important, and maybe more important from the athlete side of it, is when your skill set diminishes. I mean, there's nothing worse than watching someone that used to be so dominant, so eloquent at anything, watching their skill set diminishing, yet they're still out there trying to get it done. Like, you don't want to see that. Like,
it's awful.
Exactly. You just don't want to witness that. You want to remember them for the greatness that they showed when they were on top of their game. And that's how and I think that's how they should walk away, in my opinion. Move away before it becomes a downward slide. I mean, from the coaching standpoint, I think for me, when I lose my passion for this, the day I walk into my office and it's not fun for me, when it's not something that absolutely keeps me awake at night sometimes, then it's time for me to walk away. It's time for me to turn my keys in. The day I don't walk into that office and have that incredible passion, that incredible feeling in my gut that says, I want to be the best, and it's time to walk away, because I'm cheating the university, and more importantly, I'm cheating the athletes that I recruited to come here. So I think when you get to that point, don't do it just for the paycheck. Please don't, because you're cheating everybody around you.
Say that again for the people in the back, Lucious.
I liked the answers. For me, on the athlete side, as it pertains to our sport in particular, our sport is a glory sport. And what I've always said is, when your pursuit of that glory is starting to have a negative impact on the life you're trying to live, it's time to go. I'm not one to get in the business of telling people to stop chasing their passions. But there's a lot of athletes in our sport who still have the passion for what they do, but their pursuit of it is significantly impacting the life that they're, you know, the happiness, the ability to stand on their own 2 feet. Like if it's costing you more than it's helping you, more than it's bringing you to your life in our sport, it's time to go, because that downward spiral can be really tragic to watch and can have an emotional, mental toll on people that I don't think they realize until it's, you know, long past what has already happened. And so in the few times that I've seen that going on with people that I cared enough about to say something, like I'll just tell them, and I'll be the bad guy. You can be mad at me for a week or a month or 6 months or whatever, but if I'm your friend, somebody got to tell you. So I've had to do that a few times, and those aren't cool conversations. But at least I felt like I was trying to help my people, you know, move on that. On the coaching side, especially in our profession, I think there are a lot of people out there holding on for the paychecks. In some cases, holding on for the paychecks long past the date that they done, you know, got the pension, that they done got the retirement plans going. Like, if they say they're still passionate about it, that's cool. You know, it is what it is. But you know, I think to Lucious's credit, holding on to get the check is very obvious, and it does harm the young people that you're charged to work with every day. It does ruin their ultimate experience. And, you know, when you're just showing up and going through the motions so you can check the boxes, so you can, you know, get the check, like, personally, I think it's disrespectful. And maybe
that's a great word.
And maybe that's my perspective because I'm relatively young still in this business, but I see a lot of people just doing that. And I really wish they wouldn't, especially, you know, when they definitely have other options. You know, there's a lot of passionate people, you know, coming through the ranks, and there's a lot of people who could do well with opportunities when they come up. And so, you know, what's the right time? I mean, you know, people got families, they got kids, they got bills. We all understand that, you know, and I can't point and be like, this person at this place should move on. Like, I'm in no position to say that. But when you're around people who are just there to be there, it's very, very obvious. And what's crazy is the kids in the program know it. They may not know it before they get to the campus, but they know it once they're there. And that's very sad to see. And the residue from that is tough for kids to go through. So, you know, I like the passion thing. I do this for passion and education are my, you know, why I do what I do. And so the education is always going to be important to me. But to everybody else's point, if I don't love what I do, if I can't get up every day, if I get to the point where I'm no longer living and dying with the performances and the development of the people that I work with every day, then I'm going to become bad at my job. And I don't ever want to be perceived as bad at my job. So if that day ever comes, I will most definitely walk and go gracefully into the next phase of whatever my life is going to be.
I want to jump back in, and I do want to say something. I feel truly blessed to have actually been able to retire from the sport of track and field as an athlete, because I think all of us realize and recognize that most people just stop running. Like, they go too far, and they don't have spots and meets anymore, and they can't, like, it's like somebody takes track away from them. And my very last track meet as an athlete was in Eugene, Oregon, and there were thousands of people there, and I took my shoes off and I left them there, and I bowed, and I got to actually retire from the sport, and I feel blessed for that, because more than 9 out of 10 people in our sport, they don't get to retire. The sport retires them. Yep. And that's a really harsh existence beyond being an athlete. And I would say, is my way exactly the way everybody should do it? No, not necessarily, but I will say this. I was always about being the master of my own destiny, and I think there's a lot of closure in that. And I think there's a great number, to Clyde's point, I think there's a great number of people in our sport who don't retire and they get retired. And that's painful to watch. As a former athlete, that's painful to watch happen to other people. And I was never going to let it happen to me.
I agree.
Nice. So none of us are walking away that soon. Well, minus Lamar.
Oh, I'm not walking away, obviously, right? I'm still here. I just want to give to the sport in ways that I am still incredibly passionate about.
He's in a new lane.
There you go.
I pour into coaches on a regular basis.
He graciously is in lane 1. I'm just kidding.
Just don't trip over the rail. Just don't trip over the rail.
All right. Well, keeping this new tradition going with rapid fire. Mr. Lucious, you warmed up? You ready to go?
I guess I better be.
I'm excited for this one.
I'm not gonna lie.
This makes this sound dangerous, but let me.
It's good. It's actually gotten better through the episode because of what you've revealed.
I am here for this.
I like it. All right. Take a breath, sir. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right. Ohio or Florida?
Ohio.
Slides or flip-flops?
Slides.
I was like, maybe that's a California thing where we only know what flip-flops are. Rain or snow?
Rain.
Flat or sparkling water?
Neither.
Ooh. You're thirsty? Whoa. 100-meter sprint or 110 hurdles?
Ooh.
That's unfair.
See? Told you.
The hurdles.
Hurdles. Got it. Magic or Larry?
Magic. Come on now.
Big Luther or Little Luther?
Big Luther. It's got to be Big Luther with the curl. The whole, it can't be that curl that just didn't quite get there. It's got to be Big Luther with the curl.
The house is not a home, Luther?
Absolutely.
Wait, there's one more.
Oh, okay. I'm bad.
Sonny's Barbecue or Four Rivers Smokehouse?
Oh, Sonny's.
I had to go deep. I had to go dive for that.
Yeah. Oh, it's Sonny's. I mean, me and my man Sonny, we go way back before Four Rivers was ever a thing. So I got to go with my man Sonny. But
the deep dive, I love it.
Gotta be Big Luther though. I mean, Little Luther was cool, got some good stuff, but once you experience Big Luther, you can't deal with Little Luther. Luther put the weight back on, man. Let's go. Come on, man.
I love it.
Well, that was good. That was good. That was good.
Shout out to Hannah, your volunteer assistant. She helped me with the food, the smokehouse versus the barbecue. So
thank you. I'll give her a shout out tomorrow.
So
and we'll go with the regular water versus definitely not drinking that sparkling mess. I ain't doing that.
You're missing out.
Sparkling water is great.
Yeah. I want you to discuss that with my stomach, okay? And Lamar understands, right?
Oh, that's funny.
And Clyde, you've been to lunch with me, so and you've had dinner with me. Like, I'm very basic, and that's for a reason. that is not mind driven. That's stomach driven, right?
All right, gents. So to conclude the show, as always, we will go into our heartbeat props, just giving some people recognition while they're still here to relish in it, to hug us and say thank you back to them. So who would like to go first this week? There you
go. No tears, no nothing, no fanfare. I'm just going to be completely and utterly honest. I've wanted to do this heartbeat prop since the first week, but I just thought it was cheesy and would probably get picked on. So I'm going to wait. I waited till what are we in episode 28, 9, whatever
this
it is?
This will be 25, sir.
Sure. Whatever. It's a lot. My heartbeat props goes to my the other three tiles on this show, because you inspire me on a daily basis. I talk to at least one of you every single day. And usually it's at least two. It's funny, I freaked Clyde out earlier today because I called him and I said, it's actually a business call. And he was like taken aback, like, huh? I was like, yeah, I actually I got a job to offer you. So it was kind of funny. But I'm inspired by the three of you. I'm inspired by Chew to chase my creative dreams and not be afraid that I can be successful in a space that others never saw me be successful. I'm inspired by Clyde because it reminds me that resiliency is a thing and it's to be supported. And I mean, I'm inspired by my big brother because, I mean, shit, he makes me want to be a better human. I wake up every morning trying my best to, you know, move the needle on the In Search of Being Lucious model. But at the end of the day, like beyond all those, you know, fluffy things, like this show is the best. That's unfair. This show is definitely this. It is the centerpiece of my week. It is one of the things that I for sure look forward to every single week. There were some difficulties that we had, and there was a brief suggestion that maybe we wouldn't produce a show one week, and I literally said, "No, that shit's not happening." You know, that's why I will drive across the country and eat wings and figure out how to do the show at a baseball tournament and in the dark and in the airport and wherever else we're going to do it, because the other three tiles on this show mean a tremendous amount to me. And the feedback that we get from others that we seem to be helping is also, it's food for my soul. But it's also, it's a platform to do good, you know, to be unified for change and to discuss the fact that Breonna Taylor's killers are not really going to be brought to justice and those kind of things. So at the end of the day, and I don't want to take any more time, I just want to say that I'm inspired and moved and love the other three people on this show. And so my heartbeat props tonight go to the rest of the Athletics LLC crew. And that includes Tianna Bee and D Steele and somebody I finally got to talk to, which is my man Cheek. So love you
Good
all.
peeps, isn't he? Cheeks is definitely good peeps, man.
Now see, you should have went last with all of that. You knew what you was gonna say. We supposed to follow.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say, man.
Well, since I don't imagine any of us will follow that well, I'm gonna go ahead and go next. My heartbeat props is again one that I've wanted to do for a while, and that is to Sean Jackson at TCU, because Sean Jackson gave me my first job in the NCAA, literally, and there's a really long story to go along with all of that, which I will not bore everybody with right now. But the shortened version is in Knoxville, Tennessee, doing my high school club thing, and I was supposed to be getting a job out west in Southern California. Literally to the point where I had to say goodbye to my kids, pack up everything, get super emotional and drive all the way back out west, only to be told, well, I just fired my distance coach and I'm going to hire a young person for that role. So I'm not going to hire two young people. So, you know, our bad. After I'd been on campus, after I'd met everybody I needed to meet, after I was supposed to come back 2 days later to sign my paperwork. And that was very, very, a very bad experience. Sean Jackson did not know me. I never met the man, never heard of him, did not know Louisiana Tech was a university. And he called me out of the blue and said, I have a sprint hurdle job open, and everybody in the Southeast says you're the guy I need to talk to. Do you want the job? That was the conversation. And I said, send me the contract first, and I will be there.
That's funny.
And seriously, like, threw all my stuff right back in the whip and drove on out to Ruston, Louisiana. And
Woo!
to his credit,
From California?
from Cali, after driving from Tennessee to Cali.
Jesus.
Right. Tennessee to LA, LA to Ruston within a month. It was wild. And to his credit, from the day I arrived at Louisiana Tech, he trusted me to do what I do, gave me space to grow, gave me freedom to coach the way I wanted to coach, trusted me with what was ultimately his group of kids, because he recruited everybody there that was making any kind of noise at that time. And, you know, it was always a partnership. He was my boss, and Gary Stanley was his boss above all of that. But Gary and Sean, they just gave me space to learn this game, and Sean taught me a lot. And so, you know, he's a phenomenal coach. He's done everything you can do. He's NCAA champions. He's had, you know, people on the world scene. He's got professional athletes, and he's one of the best coaches in the country. The main thing he does now at TCU is jumps, and they've been doing a hell of a job for a long time in that regard. So, Sean Jackson, my brother, literal reason I'm in this game. I appreciate you, man, and I will forever be indebted to you.
I'll go next. My heartbeat props tonight is to a lady that I was trying to remember. I want to say, first of all, that these get tough every week, because I realize as I start thinking about these, how many people have blessed me throughout my life. And so picking one person every week is to be more and more challenging. But this lady is a lady I met when I was a high school coach, and I used to go help with the Florida Relays. I was a clerk, and we used to, if you ever been to the Florida Relays and you see the masses of people that run through that meet, we used to do that by hand on note cards. And I can just always remember her being very patient. Nothing ever rattled her. Even on, like, you know, so we take the cards out, we put them in the event areas and give them to her, and she'd type them up on these sheets. She was incredible. And I can always remember her giving me little tips about, you know, how to handle things, even with my high school team at the time. And then when I got the job at the University of Florida, she very quickly became my confidant and somebody I could lean on, and somebody that looked out for me daily. When I became the head coach, the first thing she came to me and said was, remember what got you this job. Don't lose sight of who you are. And as my secretary, she kept me in line and made sure that I was always where I needed to be, was there on time. I was prepared for what I had to do. And even though she retired, I still see her and her husband come to football games every now and then. I love her and I miss her. And my heartbeat props go out to one Miss Norma Peterson, you know, who was just a phenomenal lady and did phenomenal things for me and my family. The number of days that that I had my daughter sitting in my office doing her homework, and she made sure Michelle didn't act up while I was away was also helpful. So she had obviously helped me raise my daughter. So Miss Norma, we love you, we appreciate you, and thank you. And you're my heartbeat props this week.
Very nice. I will close out the week with my heartbeat props. Ironically, didn't time this very well, but I can't go anywhere else yet tonight, anyways. Mr. Lamar. So,
Jesus. Really? That's what we're doing?
I won't make it that bad. I have to say thank you, and I have to give the claps and the roses and all those things, the confetti, whatever you call it, to this gentleman, because literally in absence of us meeting and crossing paths and me honestly not knowing who this dude was that was sitting next to me, I literally would not be where I am right now. He opened my eyes to say, hey, like, there's more beyond California. There's more beyond the university that you're at right now. You are bigger and better than you really think you are. And I didn't know how to take that for a really long time, but he didn't stop. He did tell me to stay in my lane when we were recruiting the same person. He's like, you don't have enough money to compete against me. I was like, I don't need money. I got me. That's what I got. And he said, that's cute. And I was like, watch me. And, you know, like, I didn't get the girl, neither did he. So, but,
Fair enough.
I will say, you know, like, for me to be a contender and to be in that final room with the likes of Mr. Lamar and the school. She actually ended up, I don't know if Sean was there at the time, but she ended up going to TCU. You know, you've definitely helped bring me out of my shell. You've exposed me to these wonderful tiles below us right now. And there's a lot of growth that I have to attribute to your presence. So I appreciate you fully putting me on blast that night at the state meet in California. I appreciate the conversations that we've had and the ass whoopings verbally that I take from you from time to time. I appreciate them. So thank you very much, sir.
I'm gonna clap you up, but you get off my girl Chew now. Don't stop.
Hey man, iron sharpens iron. There's a reason she's as tough as she is.
Very true. Very true. So, with all of that, I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everyone suffering through my Megatron voice and my yeah, you know. So, we thank you for the 25 episodes that we've gone in. This will be the 25th as when you hit stop here. We appreciate the 205 followers or subscribers. I'm sorry. We appreciate your comments every week, so keep them coming. We actually do read them. I don't just hit the like button, and we do talk about them when they happen, so keep them coming. And other than that, gentlemen, have a great evening, have a great week, and we'll see each other again.
Stay safe, everybody.
Peace.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot knife the butter. Truth pin them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place and we'll peel to go further. IYKYK, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.